Hi, this is Ruth Schmuff from Beaded and Bedazzled. On this channel, I will show you tips and techniques to make your stitching more fun and creative. Today, I'm going to show you how to bezel a chaton. This is a little tiny crystal. We're going to surround it with beads and make it a thing that we can attach onto our needlepoint canvas. So, before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video, and let's get rolling. You're going to need a few beading supplies. You need, in this case, 39 SS chatons. They're small, but not too small. You need delica beads, which are cylinder beads, and you need size 15 seed beads. You need beading thread. I'm using 1G, a beading needle. That's pretty much the basics of it. So you're going to start out, you're going to thread your beading needle with a single strand of beading thread, and I like to run it through either beeswax or microcrystalline wax. So literally you just stick it on the wax and pull it across. That's going to strengthen your thread and just keep everything tighter. The best advice I can give you is keep things tight. As needle pointers, we are used to laying our threads smoothly. Now I'm going to tell you to keep a death grip on them. So I start out, I wrap the end of my thread around my finger just to keep it secure. We're going to start by picking up 22 delica beads. I've already counted them out, which is a good checks and balance system. If you count them a couple of times on your beading mat, you know you have the right number. And it's a whole lot easier to count something that's laying on your beading mat than to try to count it in the round when you are beading. So we're going to pick up these 22 delica beads, all in one big long row. I'm using a size 11 tulip needle, but pretty much any small beading needle that you are comfortable with will do the job. I like longer needles for bead weaving, shorter needles for sewing beads on canvas. So I have 22 beads on my thread. We're going to circle around and go right back through the first few beads. We're making a loop. Easy peasy. From this point on, we're still keeping that death grip on our thread. You're going to count out 11 delica beads now. So your next row is half the number of your starting row. If you had a bigger chaton, you would start with more than 22 beads, but your next row is always half the number of your first. So we're going to pick up a delica bead. This is where we're coming out. We're going to skip a bead in our row and we're going to go into the next one. This is the basics of peyote stitch. And they snap together kind of like little bricks. Pick up another bead, skip the next bead in your ring, and go into the next one. I actually picked up 2 beads. That was not what we wanted to do there. Okay, so regrouping, I've picked up 1, skip a bead, and go into the next one. You're going to go all the way around the ring, pick up a bead, skip a bead in your base row, go into the next bead. You want to pull this tight. Now, here's the funny thing about beading. Everybody's definition of tight or death grip is different. Basically, you want no slack between your beads. They should snap into place. And generally, the tighter you pull, the better off you are. With that said, you can actually have too tight of tension. Great, you're saying, what's she making me do now? Trust the process. It'll be fine. So we just keep adding beads. Hold that tail end out of your way. We're going to keep it because later we're going to use that little guy to sew our pretty little beaded chaton onto the canvas. If we didn't surround our chaton with beads, we wouldn't have a way to attach it to the canvas other than glue. And, you know, we don't always like glue. Okay, we're down to the last delicate bead. So this is the important part. This is the thing that makes it all magical and work. We're picking up our last bead of our 11. We skip the bead in the base row and we go in the next one. But now we have to do what's called step up, which means we go through the first bead we added in this row. So you can see I've kind of gone on an angle. I've skipped this guy, going into this one and that one. What this does magically is when we pull on it, and you can see I'm pulling tight, it starts to curve up and it becomes truly a cylinder. Now, this is half the size it was before because now suddenly we have 3 rows of beads here. So it's going to be a little challenging to hold on to. You can put something in the center to hold it open. So these are little lucite rods that we sell called perfect circles. They don't have to fit perfectly. They just have to be enough to hold on to it. So once we've done this, we're going to do another row just like we did the first, adding 11 beads. Still delicas. They're still going to snap together. So I'm going to do this and come back in a second. Okay, I have worked all the way around. I have 2 beads left to put on, so I've already done 9. You can see the tube is getting longer. I have a bead on my needle, and I'm going to go through the next open space. And you can see as you do this, there's kind of these little up and down dents. Your bead is going in the space, in the down part. So now we've done 10, here's number 11. Pick up the bead, skip this next bead, go into the next guy, and step up. So just like we did before, we're going up on an angle. So now you have this very pretty gold band. Now we're going to go to smaller beads. So do the same exact thing that you did with the delicate beads, but now you're going to switch to size 15s. You're going to do 2 rows of size 15s. They can be the same color, they can be a contrasting color, it doesn't really matter. And it's going to draw this in. So again, I'm going to take a little pause, get this done for you, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've done 2 rows on the back, what is going to be the back side or the bottom of this chaton, using size 15 seed beads. I'm about to sew on the 11th bead in the 2nd row. So just like always, we skip a bead, we go into the next bead, and we step up. So going into the next guy, and here we are stepping up. So that completes that 2nd row of size 15 seed beads. At this point, you weave across. It doesn't matter how you get there. But you're just going to weave through beads till you get to the starting side again, the very first row of gold beads in this case. Now the magic happens. We can put the chaton in. It doesn't fall through. Now we're going to do 2 rows on the top, just like we did on the bottom, using size 15 seed beads. It's going to tighten everything up, finish it off, and make sure that the chaton can't fall out. Right now it can still fall out. It's just sitting there smiling at us. So give me a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. So I've done 2 rows of size 15. I'm down to my last bead to add on. So I'm putting my last bead on. We're going to go through 2 beads so that we step up. Give it another little gentle tug, and it's done. The chaton is not going anywhere. It is completely encased in seed beads and delicate beads. It's safe and secure. At this point, you weave both of your tails down to the back. One is already there. Oops, that's the front. Silly me. Weave them both to the back. Use those to sew it onto your canvas where you want. That's all there is to it. So hopefully this helps and you give it a try. It's a lot of fun. It adds a little bit of sparkle in a different way to your canvas. It adds some depth. You can see it has a little bit of height to it. So give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.